Annelies Anne Marie Frank was born in Frankfurt, in the former Prussia, on June 12, 1929, and died in the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in Hanover, Germany, around February 1945, at only 16 years old. She was a German teenager of Jewish origin, who was a victim of the Holocaust, becoming one of the most emblematic figures of the 20th century. The posthumous publication of the content of her diary, the book of which was released with the title The Diary of a Young Girl, in 1947, recounts her experiences and feelings during the Second World War and the German occupation in the Netherlands, documenting her day-to-day life. Hidden in concealed rooms of a company in Amsterdam, the story of Anne Frank has served as the basis for several films, plays, research, and studies. Part 2.
Whoever doesn't know but must learn and find by experience that a quiet conscience makes one strong.
Anyhow, I've learned one thing now. You only really get to know people when you've had a jolly good row with them. Then and then only can you judge their true characters.
If God lets me live, I shall attain more than Mummy ever has done. I shall not remain insignificant. I shall work in the world and for mankind.
I can't let them see my doubts or the wounds they've inflicted on me.
We all live with the objective of being happy. Our lives are all different and yet the same.
In the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit.
Take a look.
Earning happiness means doing good and working, not speculating and being lazy. Laziness may look inviting, but only work gives you true satisfaction.
Don't condemn me, but think of me as a person who sometimes reaches the bursting point.
Paper is more patient than man.
Memories mean more to me than dresses.
I do my best to please everybody, far more than they'd ever guess. I try to laugh it all off, because I don't want to let them see my trouble.
I soothe my conscience now with the thought that it is better for hard words to be on paper than that Mummy should carry them in her heart.
I need my mother to set a good example and be a person I can respect, but in most matters she's an example of what not to do.
God has not forsaken me, and He never will.
I shall not remain insignificant. I shall work in the world for all mankind.
In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build up my hopes on a foundation consisting of confusion, misery, and death.
There's plenty of room for everyone in the world. Enough money, riches, and beauty for all to share. God has made enough for everyone. So let us all begin then by sharing it fairly.
I have often been downcast, but never in despair.
Do any of those people in their warm and cozy living rooms have any idea what kind of life a beggar leads? Do any of those good?
One gets on better in life if one is not overmodest.
Parents can only advise their children or point them in the right direction. Ultimately, people shape their own characters.
Although I'm only 14, I know quite well what I want. I know who's right and who is wrong. I have my opinions, my own ideas and principles, and although it may sound pretty mad from an adolescent, I feel more of a person than a child. I feel quite independent of anyone.
Parents can only give good advice or put them on the right paths, but the final forming of a person's character lies in their own hands.
They were pale and didn't say a word when Katie entered the room. Had they been sitting like this every night for months, seeing all those pale and frightened faces was awful. With each bang of an outside door, a shock went through everyone in the room, as if the door to life itself were symbolically being slammed shut.
Sometimes old people have really old-fashioned ideas, but that doesn't mean I have to go along with them.
Sometimes old people have really old-fashioned ideas, but that doesn't mean I have to go along with them. I need my grandparents, but in a certain sense they need me too.
Why can't people live with each other in peace? Why must everything be destroyed? Why must people go hungry while surplus food elsewhere in the world rots away? Oh, why must people be so crazy?
Who knows, perhaps he doesn't care about me at all, and look at the others in just the same way.
Hourglass Radio. It gives us eyes and ears out into the world. We listen to the German station only for good music.
and we listen to the beat, C for hope.
At any rate, Daddy usually comes to my defense. Without him, I wouldn't be able to stick out here.
I can recapture everything when I write my thoughts, my ideals, and my fantasies.
Dead people receive more flowers than the living ones because the word red is stronger than gratitude.
The best remedy for those who are afraid, lonely, or unhappy is to go outside, somewhere where they can be quiet, alone with the heavens, nature, and God, because only then does one feel that all is as it should be.
The best remedy for those who are frightened, lonely, or unhappy is to go outside, somewhere they can be alone, alone with the sky, nature, and God. For then and only then can you feel that everything is as it should be, and that God wants people to be happy amid nature's beauty and simplicity.
I can shake off everything as I write. My sorrows disappear, my courage is reborn.
Ordinary people simply don't know what books mean to us, shut up here. Reading, learning, and the radio are our amusements.
Sometimes I'm so deeply buried under self-reproaches that I long for a word of comfort to help me dig myself out again.
Why should some people have such a hard time during their few years on this earth?
It won't take long before I explode with pent-up rage.
You must work and should not be lazy if you want to be happy.
Let's not talk about it anymore, but if you still want anything, please write to me about it, because I can say what I mean much better on paper.
People can tell you to keep your mouth shut, but that doesn't stop you from having your own opinion.
Another fact that doesn't exactly brighten up our days is that Mr. Van Meuren, the man who works in the warehouse, is getting suspicious about the acts.
I believe that in the course of the next century, the notion that it's a woman's duty to have children will change and make way for the respect and admiration of all women who bear their burdens without complaint or a lot of pompous words.
I believe that it's spring within me. I feel that spring is awakening. I feel it in my whole body and soul.
I mean that most people, married or single, stand inwardly alone.
I argued that talking is a female trait, and that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to break myself of the habit, since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there's not much you can do about inherited traits.
I found that there is always some beauty left in nature, sunshine, freedom, in yourself. These can all help you